He dropped the mop at her feet like she was dirt. "Clean it up," the sergeant barked, without even looking her in the eyes. The break room had fallen silent. Every soldier seated at the folding tables turned their heads, some mid-bite, some frozen mid-sip. No one said a word. No one stepped in. They just watched. She didn't flinch. Her hands, calloused but steady, reached for the mop without protest. The floor was streaked with spilled coffee and muddy boot prints. None of it was hers. But she didn't argue. She just bent down quietly, sleeves sliding up her forearm. That's when everything stopped. The sergeant's voice caught in his throat. His eyes, so sure just seconds before, were now locked on the mark inked into her skin. Black coils, twin fangs, a serpent poised to strike. The black viper. No, one in the room moved. For a long moment, all that existed was the tattoo and the silence it brought with it. Her name was Kara Finn, 32, 5'4", quiet, wore the same olive drab every day, never spoke unless spoken to. Most assumed she was logistics. Maybe admin. She never corrected them. What no one knew, what they never even asked, was that she once led the most feared recon team in the Middle East. The Black Vipers. The name wasn't just a symbol. It was a warning. An elite unit operating in the shadows, where missions weren't recorded and medals were classified. She had scars beneath that uniform. Some healed. Some still bled quietly. 3 years ago, she carried her bleeding captain over 6 miles through enemy territory. 2 weeks later, she handed the folded flag to his widow, then disappeared from combat without a word. Not because she was weak, but because she had seen too much. And now, she was mopping floors in a base that didn't even know her name. The sergeant, young, loud, and too full of himself, had dismissed her from day one. Called her grunt, girl, extra. Had no idea who she was. And never once asked. Until today. Until her sleeve fell back and showed the mark that no one in Special Forces ever forgot. He opened his mouth to speak, but found nothing there. One of the older lieutenants, seated near the back, slowly stood up. His tray hit the table with a soft clatter. He walked over and picked up the mop from her hands. "You don't mop this floor, ma'am," he said, his voice low but steady. She didn't protest. She didn't smile. She simply nodded once, eyes calm, posture still. Like she'd seen this before. Like this moment didn't surprise her. One by one, others rose too. Men and women who had been silent now stood tall. Boots shuffled. Eyes dropped, not in shame, but in quiet respect. The sergeant took a step back, suddenly aware of the heat creeping up his neck. The same man who had ordered her to clean up someone else's mess now couldn't hold her gaze. "Sir," someone said firmly behind him, "you owe her an apology." But Kara didn't wait. She was already walking away, back straight, footsteps even. The mop left leaning against the wall. She never looked back. Because strength doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need medals on a chest or ranks stitched on a collar. True strength moves like silence, seen only when someone finally decides to pay attention. And in that quiet moment, on that ordinary Tuesday, the base remembered something it had forgotten. Heroes don't always wear new uniforms. Sometimes, they wear old scars and stay silent. You don't need to prove your worth to those who never asked your story. Some carry weapons. Others carry memories heavier than any gun. Silence isn't weakness. It's the mark of someone who's already won battles the rest of us can't imagine. She never spoke of that day again. But they did. They spoke of the tattoo. The sergeant who froze. The soldier who never raised her voice, yet made the whole room stand. And they remembered that respect is not given by rank. It's earned by sacrifice. If this story moved you, tell us where you're watching from. Have you ever met someone who carried strength in silence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that honor our unseen heroes.